Attention, Burnley fan. The club is about to make decisions that will define everything for the next season. While rivals are already making moves, the Clarets face an explosive dilemma. Bring back a talent who could be the key piece or risk everything in the transfer market. And there's more. An urgent warning from Sky Sports reveals a fatal mistake that could condemn Leeds and Burnley to relegation before the ball even rolls. Will the board get it right this time? You cannot miss these details. But before you get all the details, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss daily updated Burnley news. If you're tired and want more energy and vigor in a totally natural way, download the exclusive guide by clicking on the link in the comments. Zeki Mdeni's story at Benfica seems to be reaching a decisive point, and all signs point to a path that could lead back to Burnley. Zeki Mdeni, the Swiss striker who was loaned to Benfica by Burnley in the last transfer window, may be closer to returning to the English club than initially thought. Since being loaned to the Primeira Liga side, with an option to buy for 18 million euros, Mdeni's future has become a central topic in discussions about the Portuguese team. Although he has played in various positions and been used in several roles in attack, Mdeni has failed to meet Benfica's expectations, which could result in his return to Burnley next season. During his time at Benfica, Mdeni was called upon to play in 41 matches across all competitions, totaling 1,241 minutes on the pitch. In that period, the player managed to score 8 goals and provide 3 assists, numbers that indicate a reasonable performance but were not enough to secure his place as a regular starter. His versatility was an advantage, as he was used in different roles within the attack, but on the other hand, this also hindered his consistency, as he couldn't establish himself in a specific position in the team. Mdeni's situation at Benfica was worsened after the arrival of other players for the attacking sector. In January, the Portuguese side signed striker Burma and the experienced Andrea Belotti, which further pushed the Swiss player into the background. With these new signings, Mdeni's space in the team decreased considerably. Although he showed flashes of his ability, the truth is that his overall performance was not as expected, which created uncertainties about his future at the club. Benfica, for its part, has not made a final decision on whether to exercise the 18 million euro purchase clause to keep Mdeni at the club. According to the Portuguese press, the possibility of the player staying at Benfica is increasingly distant, mainly due to his below-expectations performance. Furthermore, the arrival of new names to the team's attack has further reduced Mdeni's relevance in the squad. With just 1 goal and 1 assist this year, the player has not been able to justify the high amount Benfica would have to pay to secure his permanence. In this scenario, the Portuguese club may try to reduce the clause's value by negotiating with Burnley, but the proposal is unlikely to succeed. The Clarets, in turn, maintain a firm stance regarding Mdeni's purchase clause. Burnley is not willing to lower the 18 million euro value, showing confidence in the player's quality and believing he could be an important piece for the team's future. The English club does not seem willing to make concessions, which puts Mdeni's future at an impasse. For Burnley, keeping the player would be a chance to strengthen their squad, especially with a team already secured in the Premier League for next season. The decision not to negotiate the purchase clause seems to be a strategy to ensure the player can return if Benfica decides not to exercise the option to buy. Mdeni's situation is a reflection of the reality of modern football, where clubs constantly need to evaluate players' performances and make tough decisions about signings and sales. For Benfica, Mdeni's loan was not the success expected, and the club will need to assess whether it's worth paying 18 million euros to keep the striker. On the other hand, Burnley is in a position of strength, as they maintain their stance on the purchase clause and are not willing to offer discounts. If Benfica opts not to keep Mdeni, his return to Burnley will be an opportunity for the striker to establish himself at the club once and for all. With a guaranteed spot in the Premier League, the English side will have the chance to rely on the player to help strengthen the attack and offer more options in the offensive sector. For Mdeni, it will be a chance to prove his worth in an even more challenging league, where he could show his true potential. Furthermore, returning to Burnley would be a way for the player to start anew, now in a team he already knows and where he may have more opportunities to shine. For Burnley fans, this is a situation that generates great anticipation. Many are eager to know whether Mdeni will be reintegrated into the team and whether he will finally manage to shine in the Premier League scene. The Swiss striker's return could bring new dynamism to the team, as he is a versatile player with experience in various attacking positions. Moreover, Keeping Denis can be seen as a victory for Burnley, who showed firmness in the negotiation and did not yield to Benfica's attempts to reduce the clause's value. Leeds United and Burnley achieved an important feat by securing promotion to the Premier League on Easter Monday, following an exciting 2-1 victory for Burnley over Sheffield United at Tovemore. This win brought great celebrations for the fans, but also raised high expectations about the future of both teams in the top tier of English football. Now, with their arrival in the Premier League confirmed, both clubs face the great challenge of staying in the elite of football, something that has become increasingly difficult in recent years, with promoted teams having struggled to stabilize in the division. Leeds United started the season with an imposing performance, defeating Stoke City 6-0 at Ellen Road, making clear the desire to shine in the Premier League. However, the fans know that the competition in the top flight is fierce, and Scott Parker's team, although having had a good campaign so far, still needs to work hard to avoid falling into the stagnation trap that has affected promoted teams in recent years. In recent times, all three teams promoted to the Premier League in a season ended up being relegated the following year, and now, with Ipswich Town virtually confirmed as relegated to the Championship, Leeds and Burnley need to find ways to break this cycle and ensure their permanence in the elite. Lee Hendry, former footballer and Sky Sports pundit, shared his view on what the two clubs need to do to succeed in the Premier League. In an exclusive interview with Football League World, Hendry offered valuable advice, warning that both Burnley and Leeds will need to adapt quickly to the level of demand in the division, which is increasingly competitive. He highlighted that it will be a busy summer for both clubs, as they will need to strengthen to avoid repeating the fate of previous teams that failed to stay in the Premier League. According to Hendry, Burnley already had a taste of the Premier League last season, and under Vincent Kompany's management, the club opted for a different approach. Instead of spending large sums on experienced and expensive players, Burnley chose to bring in young talents and invest in a philosophy of player development. Hendry believes this approach could be the key to the club's survival in the Premier League, as long as recruitment continues to be done intelligently and strategically. He stressed that the team needs to make good signings and ensure the squad has the depth needed to compete at the highest level. Hendry also commented on Leeds United, highlighting the club's great potential and the energy that the fans bring to the team, especially in matches at Ellen Road, which has always proven to be a tough place for opponents. However, he emphasized that, like Burnley, Leeds will also need a strong squad and good recruitment work to avoid being defeated by the difficulties many promoted teams face in the Premier League. Hendry believes a key for both clubs will be finding the right balance between signing quality players, maintaining team spirit, and, above all, scoring the goals needed to ensure survival. The pundit also pointed out that the choice of manager will be crucial for the success of both teams. In Leeds' case, the pressure on manager Daniel Farke, who led the team back to the Premier League, is increasing, and it's possible that the club may seek a change to improve performance in the top flight. Hendry believes that the right manager can make all the difference, but for that, recruitment work will be essential. The quality of the squad will be the deciding factor, as in the Premier League. Teams need a strong enough group to compete against sides with much greater financial power. Both teams have one final battle before they can fully focus on the Premier League. Despite already securing promotion, the race for the championship title seems to go go right down to the final day of the season, with Leeds and Burnley level on points, both with 94 points after 44 games. Leeds, with a superior goal difference, face fifth-place Bristol City before taking on relegation-threatened Plymouth Argyle. Burnley, meanwhile, have an important away game against QPR and, on the final day, host Millwall at Tovemore, aiming for a win to finish the season on top. The final stretch of the season promises to be exciting, with both teams still dreaming of the title but aware that the most important thing is ensuring their squads are ready for the great challenge of the Premier League. For Leeds and Burnley, promotion is just the beginning. Now, they face the great challenge of adapting to the Premier League and finding the formula that ensures survival in the most demanding competition in world football. As Hendry said, it will be crucial to invest in the right recruitment, hire the right manager, and ensure the squad is prepared for the challenges ahead. With good decisions and a bit of luck, both teams have the potential to make history in the Premier League, but they must work hard to ensure that their championship victory is just the first step towards a successful future in the elite of English football. So, Burnley fan, what do you think? Bring Denis back or take a risk in the market? Do you agree with the Sky pundit that the club needs to change its strategy to avoid relegation? Comment below with your opinion. Your opinion is worth more than any expert's, and who knows, maybe the board is watching? Oh, and wait, before you go, there's a bombshell piece of news leaking now about the Clarets. You won't want to miss it. Burnley FC now faces a £10 million transfer fee, and there's major concern. Click and check it out now. See you in the next video.